Welcome to the Can't Afford Therapy podcast. Apparently the I Can't Afford Therapy was too long, according to these two pricks in front of me.
Definitely.
So we've got my first guest on is Sean Chalmers. He's a comedian from Glasgow. I just went on his podcast, what was it, like a week ago? And I've decided to come back to the same studio and start my own. So welcome to the podcast, Sean, my first
You
guest.
decided to just reverse the rules, that was all.
I know, we just changed the seats. Last week I was on yours. So, see, to be honest, I want to do exactly what you were doing. I don't want to do interviews. I want to just get people on and chat absolute shite. So before
you were saying I was talking absolute shite last week?
Oh, I thought you were just trying to get me cancelled the full time. That's what I was going to call this, by the way. I was going to call it Chat Shit Get Cancelled.
Mate, that's well better. That's the name. That is well better.
No, but listen to this.
The other one's shite.
Right, so I'll maybe put it up for debate, but how am I going to get people on a podcast where I go, mate, you're doing quite well in your career. Do you want to come onto the Chat Shit Get Cancelled podcast?
I would do it.
Because you don't give a fuck. That's why you're trying to get
Mate, I could literally have about 20 million followers and all that, 100 million subs, and I would want to get cancelled.
Yeah, well, that'll be my aim then. Just get them on and be like, try get them cancelled. Mate, do you agree with this?
What do you think about the KKK?
How many hours do you think are in a day?
Oh, mate. By the way, that video did pretty
24?
well.
What?
That video did pretty well on my TikTok.
The Molly May one, did it?
But then the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, that just blew up.
I know, I've seen that. It's so random. It's mad, isn't it? It's so random.
I can't figure it out.
You just put stuff up and see what happens.
Yeah,
That's what you will do.
I started obviously changing it to like the square thing and that. And
I still need to help you with that, by the way.
I know, Paul's meant to help me with that, man, but I'm actually so...
Technophobe.
No, I know that, mate. See, like, I don't really... We were talking about the ADHD thing, but see, sometimes, like, I'll do something and I'll go, fuck that, and move on to the next. And I'm too focused on, like, other shit that I end up slacking on stuff that I need to be doing.
Right. I'm very like that as well, though. Can you not notice that?
No.
No?
No.
I'm doing fitness.
If freestyle football, I'll take fucking PT.
But in the last, like, 3 years, I've been a bartender, call centre, freestyle football, fitness, and then I'm starting podcasting. I can't focus on the one thing ever.
This is definitely what you should focus on, but because you were well too good to not do this.
Stop complimenting me again.
I'm deliberately doing it because I know how uncomfortable it makes you.
Start sweating and all that again. What I was going to say, see, coming into town, by the way, I want to ask you this because you might have an opinion on it. Is there like a prerequisite to have blue hair to come into Glasgow now?
Aye.
On the train?
Oh,
I was the only person with their own hair
colour. The first time I
colour.
ever took a train in here, I had blue hair.
What is that about? It's so bad.
I don't know, mate. Well, I think the Rangers game's on today.
I was thinking that as well, but they were all girls.
What, women can't be?
Oh, fuck up.
Right.
Chat shit get cancelled.
Can't you say women can't like football? Did you just say...
I was ready to stand up because I know they're all left wingers, ready to stand up and just go, Molly May was right. And
do you know I got actually done by a trans athlete in Nando's?
Go through this? What?
I ordered I went to Ross, co-host of the Father's Fight, we plug there, and he's like my dad, mate, because you've seen the size of him, you probably looks like my dad, mate. He's this big ginger bull guy, and he's built like fuck, man. He's obviously like an animal. Pro MMA fighter. And we went
This is a guy that didn't know what Love Island was.
Aye, how funny is that? The Love Island thing, he's like, me and my missus, we're mad swingers. We get fucking on that and show these young.
It just came up on my TikTok and he just goes like, what's Love Island? And you were like, nah, Ross, it's fine.
I didn't want to get into it too much because then he'd just go, oh really? That's interesting that. But we went to Nando's and just this pink-haired fucking defo going through like some form of transition and built like fuck butt.
Right.
Like huge, mate.
Right.
And I was like, ah, fucking hell. Go up, order my chicken wrap and that. And then Ross orders like before me. Ross's food comes and I'm sitting there like 20 minutes later and he goes, she's just fucking done you, eh? He's from obviously that way in Edinburgh. He goes, she's just fucking done you, mate. And I'm like, mate, I'm going to need to go up here and fight this trans athlete for my Nando's. And he's like, she's sitting in the fucking back scanning your rap. Go up there the noon, fucking get it. And I was like, he's actually like my dad here. This is mental. And then about another 20 minutes go by and he comes and goes, oh, by the way, sorry about that. And just hands me it.
Like cheekily?
Aye, mate, it was
Why
cheeky,
didn't she like you?
I don't know, mate.
Do you give off that vibe, do you think?
I'm a bit cunty sometimes, aren't I?
See, I've got loads of people with blue hair following me now, so like loads. See, because I've made videos about basically, and I do agree with what I'm saying, obviously, or when I said it, but like about how people get slagged off for being fat. Not slagged off, so I was coming at it from, it doesn't help if you just like shame people that are for being fat, like calling them fat and calling them lazy and stuff doesn't help.
Do you not think?
Nah, it doesn't help. You can educate them and stuff and help them, but see, it's the same way if someone is suffering with something really bad, you can't just be like, feel better. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I have like this joke with stand up, and obviously I go, I suffer from really bad depression, and I was like, do you ever get really depressed and someone says, "Oh, you'll be okay," and you're instantly cured? Like, that's what it's pure like.
That's what I mean. So you can't just go that you're fat because you're just fat and lazy and you eat too much. They know that they know this.
Yeah.
That doesn't
It's
help.
like, why are you eating that much?
So it's like what causes them to eat more and stuff like that. There's obviously different
class,
circumstances, but when you say stuff like that, you get a lot of people with blue hair that follow you. But I've also got a lot of opinions that these people will definitely not like. So it's like I just know, but I'm getting more and more of them because I've got quite a calm approach to fitness and stuff, and I'm more.
You're not pure erratic.
Yeah,
sure.
and so quite a lot of them follow me, but I know I've got fucked up opinions about other stuff.
Oh, I mate. Back to the shit I was saying before this. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, man, we're getting
So
cancelled.
I know that they're all going to keep following me, and then I'm going to say something ridiculous,
Aye.
and then I'm going to get fucked. That's how I started
Not
this.
you wearing polo, eh?
That's what we're talking about, wasn't it? Getting felt up by gaming.
Never actually happened to me, but a chocolate angel did come up to me and feel my muscles.
I don't know what a chocolate angel is.
It's basically a beautiful chocolate man.
Okay.
And I'm not even kidding. Like, do you know these mad, like, you can get these chest tops,
Right,
and he just had no muscle anywhere else, but just these enormous pecs,
right.
and just came up and, like, just started feeling my muscles. And then this must have been, like, one of his pals came and he goes, "He's not gay." And I went, "Did you just say I'm not gay?" Like, off the bat, just straight away went, "He's definitely not gay. Like, he's not good looking enough to be gay." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. Like, see you later."
I have a horrific time every time I've been to polo.
I actually love it. I like the whole part of, like, see when you go to garage.
I've had a great time. I've just had stupid shit happening to me. ABBA's on. Obviously, I'm having a good time, but
Aye.
I mean, stupid shit happens to me every time I'm in it.
No,
Well,
but
I've
I
not
like-
been since I was like 21.
I say, mate, I'm never there. No, not been. No,
Just
but
after
I just
Wicked.
like the fact that it's not like every other nightclub, and you're not like, I've got misses and that, so I just mean like for my single pals, and it's not like this pure, you're competing and like guy after guy and like just pure like eyeballing each other and all that, because that shit just, you might just can't get pushed.
Yeah.
Essentially, and dancing every. I'm like Terry Crews, mate. I mean, popping the pecs and that, I don't care. Like, I just, I like going out and just actually dancing. I used to dance when I was younger. I'm even kidding.
Right.
Like actual proper waltz.
That's why
and all
you're
that
into
shit.
all the musicals and all that. Isn't it?
Aye, mate. What are you talking about? I definitely didn't go to London for that.
What was I going to say? Yeah, but the last time I went to polo, just we were talking about it as well. Like, we understand why women get so fed up with guys and all that, because gay guys can be so creepy, like so creepy. So I was like on one. They have like chairs like this in polo.
It's a gay club, mate. Of course they do.
That's it. And the little leather, and I was just sitting on the edge of it, and a guy just put his hand right down the back of my trousers and just squeezed my arse, just like that.
But what?
You can't do that.
Do
mate.
straight guys do that?
Probably with birds.
Aye.
Yeah, definitely.
Never seen it.
Maybe not right down there, but guys
Arse
definitely like slap birds' arses and all that when they walk
Oh,
by.
mate, aye. And you just look at them and go, "Here, mate, I'm going to leather you."
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, but that's why you can understand why women get so annoyed, because they must get it all the time.
Aye.
Because of
Don't get me wrong, man. I've been like so single, mate. Like, and you're creepy. You got your dick in your hand, and you're just mailing every bird in sight. And then you come and you go, "I regret everything," instantly.
you reference that story quite a lot
It
about
happened too much.
about you coming and regretting what you've done.
Aye. You always regret wanking, didn't you? You need to clean it up and all that shit, man.
It's just what you've searched before, isn't it? You go,
Oh, fuck, aye. Some weird shit, man. Yeah.
What?
I
The
told
last
it-
10 minutes I blacked out.
I was watching Blacked. Fuck me. No, I told it on like the Christmas special, right? And it was a bit. So I got a new phone, right? But I forgot. You need to actually tell them. Oh, by the way, I'm deaf over 18, so I want to watch
I'm
porn.
definitely watching porn.
I definitely watching porn, right? But I was like, mate, it's been like, I don't know, a few months, and I'm like, obviously I've been beating my meat, but using the old wank bank up here. And then
Past memories.
and then my mum got new Wi-Fi, and obviously child block everything because I've got a niece and nephew. Don't assume they'd be watching porn. They're like 7, right? And I'm like, how do I find porn without obviously phoning this up or telling my mum, "You're married a why wank"?
Yeah.
Twitter. Just went on Twitter, mate. All these porn stars just post all this mad shit, and I'm like, if MD looks at my search history on Twitter, I'm fucked. Like, so I'm just
Can
watching.
people look at like your search
See if you see
history?
me tweeting more, I'm watching porn. That's it.
On Twitter?
Aye, mate, it's everywhere.
I had to
So,
delete
like,
Twitter.
Instagram and Facebook don't allow any adultery.
TikTok allow in as well.
But see, literally, Twitter, ends in the card, mate. I literally watched a lassie just get shat on
Is that what you,
on Twitter.
is that what you were searching?
No, mate, like, she just had it on her mad shit. And I was
Fucking
like, this is fucked up, man. I may as well finish, but you know what I mean?
Did you
Of course.
did you regret that one?
Instantly, mate. I mean, I was just sat and watching it. Is there actually nothing I won't wank to? Like, honestly, it's insane.
What was Frankie Boyle's joke with that as well? It was, it was Saddam
His was
Hussein.
about,
Saddam Hussein.
Aye, and he got the heading, and he's like, is there anything I won't wank to? And I was like, mate, that is amazing. But I'm like that, no? I'm like, I would probably wank to a beheading.
Do you get turned on by really freaky shit, didn't you?
Aye, mate, I'm a weird guy. Like,
I'd love to hear
I know
what
your
your-
fans are going, what is this? I'm going to spoke about was wanking for like the first half hour.
I've already lost so many followers the last week because of all that NHS shit that I've been posting.
Right, that's actually, so what's happened to that? You got vaccinated twice in England?
Yeah, but it never happened apparently.
But how did it not happen?
So,
Do you
right,
have the
so
wee card, do you not?
I've got it with me now. Fucking showed him it, man. It's
Okay, I can't
fucking
wait
well
for you on
annoying.
this rant. Been waiting all week for it.
Well, see if you came on with me 3 days ago, I'd have had like, that fucking hang in my head and all that.
You actually looked as though you're having a mental breakdown.
I was.
I was ready to
genuinely
just
was.
I was ready to like phone you and go, mate, you're right. Like,
I genuinely was. I was genuinely get fucking losing the plot. Because my GP's registered in Scotland, which they don't tell you when they go, they put your postcode as a postcode that doesn't exist when you get the vaccine. So I never got it in Scotland. I came back up for it in Scotland, never got it because I got pinged by that fucking app. And then it made me convinced, I was convinced I had it. So you're not meant to get it if you have it. And so I went and got it in England, and then they've registered all my details wrong. So there's an English app that you can get your COVID pass, and I can't go on that because my details are wrong. I can't go on the Scottish one because apparently in Scotland I'm not vaccinated, and I can't get them together. Like
but how does that work out? Would they not? Is it not like the thing where you go to, over in Europe? Do you know what I mean? And you like break your arm or some shit, and you're still covered. Would it not just be like the similar to that?
No, because then that would be simple.
Of course, mate.
That would make sense.
That's the thing with these getting like vaccinated and all that. Like, it's mad.
Like, it's just so stupid. I think they don't care because I think they just care about the numbers of who's vaccinated.
Yeah.
So I'm registered. Like if they,
So technically, if you got it up here, they would just bump a number up. Is that basically?
yeah, they would just be like Nicola Sturgeon would be on fingering herself about how many people have been vaccinated today. Do you know what I
She
mean?
did do that when I got vaccinated. I was like, what the fuck? What's she doing here?
Straight to her house, stabbing.
Fucking vaccinated.
But yeah, so they don't care. I think it's just, see, when I started looking into it, that's when my head started going fried, because like people from stupid fucking idiots from the NHS were telling me just to get jabbed again. I was like, are you an actual psychopath?
That's mental.
Where's the science that you can just get 5 fucking needles thrown in you?
You boosted as well on that?
No, because I'm refusing to get that until they sort my passport out. But I didn't have it done that recently. That long ago, sorry. I'd got the second one like the end of October, because I got fucked. After I didn't get my first jab, I then got COVID.
Aye.
So I didn't get it for
That happened to
ages.
me. I got double vaccinated and I literally got COVID like a couple of days after.
Is it?
And I
So-
was like, did you motherfuckers inject me with COVID?
Fuck knows, but I went to that walk-in vaccination centre as well, and they said the only way they could put it on is if I get boosted, even though I know people that have got boosted and now their app just shows their booster, so they still can't go anywhere. So they don't. And I was like, how can you not just put the other 2 on if you can put them on if you boost me? And they were like, we just need to boost you first. I'm like, I'm fucking going to lose the plot we use.
That's just...
I'm
I don't
actually
get it,
going to
man.
lose the plot.
They-
And they were looking down on me. So I went around town for about an hour before this, and there was 3 of them right in the
Like, sure waiting on me.
and you were half an hour
Fuck is
late. And so when I was in the walk-in centre, they were getting well sarcastic with me, like well sarcastic, and there was 3 of them, and I was in the middle, and I was also going through a mental breakdown. So I was standing in the middle with 3 fucking worse cunts telling me that I need to get boosted. And then I was like, why can you not just do it now? And they were like being sarcastic because they've all had their wee booster, and they work in a vaccine centre, so they now think they're better than other people. And I'm like, I'm not anti-vax. I've fucking had it twice, you stupid cunts. Like, stop
This
looking.
isn't the problem. Like, I'm not coming in
The
here.
problem was not I'm
Aye.
against it. The problem is I've been in one of these fuckers and you've fucked me over. And like they were being dead sarcastic to me and stuff. And there was a wee girl at the end, and she laughed at me when I left because I was obviously seen me on Instagram. I was fuming, and I think I didn't even slag any of them off. I just walked out and I went, "Fuck my life."
Sounded like such a pure like basic white bitch. Fuck my life, man. Honestly,
I didn't even because I hated all of them. I was like, I'm not gonna slag them. I'm just gonna let out a wee bit of anger so everybody in this full place knows that I'm angry. And but I seen her on Zara. The one that she was, the one that was laughing at me. She's well fit. She's so fit as well. But I hate her.
She a midget? Like,
but I just seen her walking past me, and she looked at that, and I was like,
"That's not gonna use that fucking mental break. He's following me."
Oh no, fucking hell.
So what happens now then? Because you like, can you go on holiday or what?
No? Kind of fuck.
But why? Like, you literally have already got them. How does that work?
I've phoned about 20 different numbers, and they just palm you off to somebody else. And I've got through to one email. So see, so I went live on TikTok for like 2 hours and lost my absolute mark. Did you watch any of it? Did you?
Well, I watched like an hour and I went, he's just nuts. I need to go home.
But I was giving people red cards and all that. People were just going, go on the app, and I was like, red card,
back to football days, red card.
I had a corner in my room, and I was just sending people in it for timeouts. I just go on that timeout, Davey, and then I'd get the next person and go, I just phoned the English app. Do you not think I've done that, Davey? Timeout. And but from that, I got about 10 people giving me actual, like maybe an email address, because if you just Google it, they just send you the numbers, and the numbers don't have a clue. I even asked Craig at NHS Informers, like, mate, we don't know anything. They don't let us know anything. Like, they don't give you like a solution for it at all. They just are like, go get busted, mate.
Obviously, it's such a hard thing for them, but because they're so unaware of all of this, like even the experts are still so unaware. So you can imagine it even trickling down, and now the people.
But don't make laws where you fucking ruin people's life. That's like.
Well, did you see in Denmark? Like that's it. It's no longer an actual class as a pandemic. It's just like the flu.
Is it?
So
it should be.
Scratched everything.
It's been about for 2 years. We've all had it.
Aye. Like that's what I said to like. See, before I'd even got it, like obviously tested positive. I said, odds are I've probably got it and not felt anything. Yeah. And then I got it, and then I just felt a wee bit. It was only really my lungs, like see going back into sparring or anything like that. Like I was fucked, mate, the first week back. But it just felt like it's the same way with they should be preaching.
The flu's horrendous.
Aye,
the flu's awful.
Just literally go and be more active if you want to kind of long and get your life. That's all it is.
I just don't like the way they look at it as like black or white. It's like vaccinated good, unvaccinated bad. It's like there's a grey in the middle. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, we don't need to put everybody against each other.
Yeah, that's
like what I say. Like I'm don't sound quite cheesy, but I'm quite like pro-choice. I was like, you do you. I'm not gonna like if you're not vaxxed, whatever. But I got vaxxed because I live with an 80-year-old woman. Yeah, like mate, if she falls, she's dead. So like if she got COVID, she's
my mum's anti-vax, and she's probably one of the like in the top 0.1% that should have it.
Yeah, mate.
So it's like I see the points, but it's like someone that's in their 20s that's training all the time and looks after themselves.
The one that I don't agree with is like they wanted to give like children and all that shit. I'm like, nah, man, you mental.
There's quite a few. It's not as can fuck kids up, I think, can't it? Like not as bad as a priest do, but like.
Yeah, but they fucking very hard. Like, Jesus Christ,
not as hard.
Did I tell you this? I once met my mum's like very religious, and I went to church and that for years, and it's so funny because I'm like I just do not give a fuck about it. But I actually met the priest in my fucking gym.
Right.
And he was in his fucking Speedos, and I just goes at him, surprised you're not in the fucking swimming pool with your robe on.
What did he say?
Just laughed at me.
Did he?
I'm surprised I didn't go, why are you swearing? The Lord wouldn't like that. All right, mate, whatever.
That's what we were talking about it last time, weren't we? We had a boy from school that was in the year above me. I can't remember his name, and I probably shouldn't name him anyway, but like when we were going for school with him, everyone was like, something not right about him. Instantly left, became a priest, and was locked up a year later.
Yeah, you go, it adds up.
You know what, like, it's not as if it's...
Aye.
Do you know
you always kind of look at the guy.
People are like, you can't say that. It's like, no, you can. They've been fucking kids for years.
You literally look at the guy and go, the second he leaves school, he's fucking all these kids.
He was a freak. He was an absolute freak. Like, I remember some of the stuff he used to say, and he used to sit down the front by himself and all that, and you're like, something not right with that guy.
And it's not like you're like bullying him and not talking to him. It's like you just can't associate or talk to the guy.
He'd bring it on himself as well. Aye. Do you know what I mean? He would just say something, you're like, shut up.
Aye.
And then he obviously went and done that. So the stereotypes are... They're kind of right, aren't they?
Aye.
They're kind of right. It's like, I've never looked... Like, people tell you to look into... Like, everything that happens in Rome and all that, and you're like, oh, I don't
think I can suffer that trauma anymore.
We were having me and my mate were having a chat the other day about
But your co-host that I thought. I can't believe I thought that.
I never said that to you once.
No, you definitely didn't.
So
Not even in a text or anything, and I just went, he's definitely got a co-host.
So this is like my third attempt at trying to do a podcast. The thing that fucked me off last time was I was doing all the setup and I wanted to film it as well. But I was saying to Jacob that
Man, Jacob.
like I couldn't get the audio to sync up with the video, and I'd figure it out, but it would take me like 3 hours. And see the stress of having to set all this up and talk. So what if I was talking right now and I was doing that, I'd be like, obviously he changes the angles and all that for you, but you just get stressed that you've not put a fucking plug in somewhere, all that, so you can't concentrate.
It's
on
also
what you're doing.
like, this is what I feel like why I got like a producer, is because I want all the focus on me to be doing the research for a guest coming in and try and make everything.
I done
so
no research
natural.
for you, to be fair.
She done it, mate.
I know, just know you're a freak, and I'll just ask you questions.
Just a weird guy, mate. So I'm just doing mental shit all the time.
But I didn't want it to be interviews as well, so we were doing all the setup. I'd be stressed about the setup, then we get someone in, and then I'd have to like research them, and like that's too much stuff to do for something when I've already got a job. Do you know what I mean?
Like I always feel as though like when I'm away doing research and that, and that's how when we were doing it, like you just feel so natural. I always like I watched so many podcasts, and all it wasn't a podcast. It was just interview, like question after question, Q&A, and it's like, but you're trying to. Best way I describe to you is like two guys meeting for the first time and just getting to know each other. That's all it is.
Just having a laugh. That's the way I want to do it. I don't want. Well, we could have a serious conversation, or we could take the piss, and it's just whatever you feel on the day or whatever.
You want to be like a podcast should be like a variety of emotions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like I don't want to be like, right, I've got these 5 questions, because what if you get into a topic and it's really interesting?
And you go, actually, mate, I heard you there. I just want to talk about this.
Just want to keep you in that, because we could do a full podcast on paedophiles.
Oh, I hope not, but we should actually get one in. Just talk to him. I don't think you're that bad a guy, mate.
It's my co-host.
I knew it. That's why he's not here in fucking jail.
But I don't get how you thought that. So I tried to get the last one I done was called Mate Get a Real Job podcast.
Fucking hell, man. No offence.
That's far too long, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
Far too long. But I've got, so we bought a neon sign that would cost 550 quid.
Fucking hell.
And I had to, so I only moved back to London, lived in London
we get it.
like 6 weeks ago. And I hadn't opened the sign because we'd stopped doing it by the time the sign took like 2 months to come.
Okay.
And
where'd you get it from, like America or something?
And because you had to get it customized, so like the box was like up to here, and I was an hour until my train was leaving from London, and I hadn't opened it yet, and I was like, I've paid 500 quid for this.
Do you know you should actually just get it back and put it up here, and it'd be like so ironic. Like, it's not even the name of the podcast.
Just put it up there. But I had to come all the way from London to here. Mate, I'm talking like a big yellow sign that says "Make Every," and every like I came into
like you're going to a Trump rally or something.
I came into Houston, right, and I've got 2 rucksacks as well, because I've got all my stuff and I'm carrying a big neon sign like this.
That is phenomenal.
Came into Houston, and the security guards, when I put my ticket in, they just stopped me and went, pointed at it, and I was like, they were like, what's that? And I showed him.
Is this a potential hate crime?
It's like, says Mate Get a Real Job, and he's like, why? And I'm like, just let me pass, please. He's like, no, he's like, you need to explain that, because we don't know what that is. And I'm like, it's because I don't really have a real job. Tried to do a podcast, I've not opened it yet because the podcast failed. Can I go? And he's like, on you go. I just wanted to laugh. I was like, fair enough, mate.
So was it to do with like you and the co-host just couldn't find hours?
Yeah, because I was pretty busy with PTing and stuff as well, and he's freestyle footballer, and he does schools and stuff like that. So
not
like,
in that way that we were talking about earlier, guys.
No,
he's actually a good guy.
No, he doesn't do that. No. I don't want to throw him under the bus as well.
He's not the creepy guy for school.
Different person. But so when he gets really busy, he could be like doing 2 weeks solid, like all around the UK.
Oh, right.
So you can't really co-host.
No, I can't commit it.
Yeah, yeah, and it was hard for me to commit to it, and I was in my bedroom. Do you know what I mean?
I had that issue, like the Fathers podcast started, it was me and my mate, because both our dads are dead. That's why it's called the Fathers
By
podcast.
the way, didn't realise that until I'd been on the show, and after I'd clicked.
He loves a dead dad joke. Loves them.
So this guy's podcast is the Fatherless Podcast. I'd literally came on it after and then read it back, and I was like, that's because he's not.
Because he's not got a dad.
And I'm laughing at it now, right? But if you've not seen the first one, he just tried to catch me out with like 4 dad jokes that I didn't really know what was going on, and I also didn't want to laugh, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm still sweating thinking about it.
You notice that with podcasts, like I watch them back and there's like these wee jokes, and like they get missed and nobody reacts to them, but then you're watching them and you're pissing yourself because he just said that and nobody's reacted. Yeah,
no, there was a few that I've watched ours back a wee bit. There's still more clips for that you've said that you can put on TikTok that I forgot about as well. Like I watched wee bits back and I was like, you just said one thing and I was like, that would be a clip there, but because it's an hour, you can't go back and look for everything, can you?
That's what I'm doing. I'm literally going back and trying to timestamp everything. I'm going back to like the start. So that's what I was meant to say. I'd basically started this with my best mate, Adam.
Right.
His dad is super dead and mine is super dead, and we went class.
Super dead? What's
podcast? I mean, like very dead. Like
what's normal dead?
Just he's just died like last night or that.
Right.
I mean, like
right, it's a time thing.
The length, like holy fuck, he's dead.
Right. Okay.
But oh man, Adam has this bit. He did like stand up once in Helensburgh. This is where like I had the worst show of my life, mate.
I thought the Motherwell one was the worst.
No, like that was only the worst because there's like 2 people and you're saying that, but literally I couldn't get a word in on Helensburgh. I went up to a naval base and it was on Memorial Day. So what's happening? All these army guys in there pissed at their nut.
Right.
And I'm saying jokes and right, I'm not that PC for all your fans, right? So I had this joke and it had the word Down syndrome in it, right? So then I finished with the word Down syndrome and this guy just looked at me and went, fucking Down syndrome. And I was like, I'm going to get shot or like murdered by all these army guys. And I just finished, like, mate, I was meant to be up for like maybe 5-7 minutes. 5-7 minutes.
Dropped the mic and ran.
I went 2 minutes, I went, nope.
Yeah.
Dropped the mic, went and sat down in the wee green room bit. And I was like, to my mate Adam, you're not going to get out here alive. Like,
yeah.
These cunts are nuts.
Is he a comedian as well?
No, but I always tell him, like, the issue with him, so I'll go for the podcast, but with the podcast, he'd moved to Helensburgh.
Right.
And I'm from Airdrie, obviously. No, obviously, not everybody would know that, but you know what I mean? You know how much I love Airdrie.
I know, you bang on about it.
I know.
You've nearly convinced me to move.
Just jump in the house with me, mate, fuck it. But we'd started it and we'd done like 2 episodes, but then he'd moved to Helensburgh and I wanted to just truck on, like I had all these guests lined up and all that, but he couldn't actually commit. Where he stays is like an hour away, and then even to come into Glasgow, he was still an hour.
Yeah.
And then because his job, he was always working. So it was quite hard because I fucking love him and we're still best pals to this day, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I just trained with him this morning, but I had to go, you have to take that leap, and I had to go, aye mate, like, I'm going to have to part ways.
Yeah.
Because it was originally my idea to like do a podcast.
Mate, this is the same as me.
And so he basically done that, but mate, he'd send you videos, some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And we were going to that Helensburgh gig, right, and we were just doing bits from that before we were gone. He's just, see the way he just talks and all that, man, you're just, like, it's associative comedy, like, you just straight away you love him.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's fucking class, man. He has this mad bit, and he's like, he's a fat guy, right? And he goes like, I'm that fat, I class, brushing my teeth, is eating an after eight, like a fucking chocolate bar. Man, mate, that's so fucking funny. And like, his dad hung himself, right? And he has this, I'm not going to say it, but he has this fucking bit about his dad like hanging himself, and it's like one of the best comedy bits stuff. And he's only done stand-up once. Right. He never wants to go back and do it, and he doesn't want to do
Why?
it.
What, because of that gig?
I just put him off.
Was that the Helensburgh one?
I just put him off, mate. Like,
well, you don't do a gig in front of a load of military
guys. He didn't know that, and I'd actually got him on the show. I'd messaged the women Helen, says, I've got my mates here, and like, first time, and it's really funny, blah, blah, blah. I try to bum that, you know what I mean? But do that with anyone.
See, your first stand-up gig, how much like prep did you do?
1 year.
1 year?
Because for 1 year, mate, I emailed every venue.
No, but I mean the actual, what you'd wrote.
A year, mate. It would be a year. Took me a year to like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I had this thing, so a lot of comedians talk about, I would do certain mannerisms as like my comedic idol. So mine's obviously Frankie Boyle. Right?
You can tell that, can't you?
But what I hadn't realised is I was such an idiot. I didn't watch stand-up. Like, I only watched Frankie Boyle, mate.
Right.
And there was a Kevin Bridges bit, and it's like the most sporting activity Scottish people get is pissing away the skiddies.
Right.
Right? But I don't know if that's a Kevin Bridges bit to this day, but my mates always tell me, I mate, it's a Kevin Bridges bit. And I went, class, I need to go back and rewrite all my material because it's all about fucking pissing skiddies.
I think he said when I was unemployed, the most enjoyable afternoon I had in that year was pissing the skid marks off my toilet.
Right, so that's
renders all your jokes.
Aye, way too similar. And I went, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to obsess over watching every special so I don't even get a word similar, right? And I'm just watching everything.
But then do you not think if you watch all the different ones, you end up like, when you go to write, you'll take wee bits that are like kind of, do you know what I mean?
No,
that's what I hate I don't watch anyone doing fitness because when I first started, I didn't even know who James Smith was at the start, and everyone were like, you're just copying James Smith, like, cause I say the word cunt. So I just deliberately, I stopped watching people, and now all I do is respond to, like, if a topic keeps coming up that people are asking me, I just go off what my audience are going for. Do you know, and then I just slaughter people and lose my mind. That's what I usually do. I just document the worst things that are happening to me. It's like when people say Instagram's a highlight reel. I hate all these people that just show their best bits. I don't. I show the worst thing.
I just show me topless all the time. No, I didn't feel that. I just felt if I watch all this and I watch masters at that craft, I can take, not the words, but I can take things that they do and put it into stand-up. And like I tell everyone, like, everyone's going to think I'm like this mad, do the circuit and all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so selective of shows, and it's just because I don't understand enough about how it all fucking works. And a lot of people just go,
how long have you been into it for?
I've actually loved stand-up, mate, since, like, I watched, I went through a lot of childhood trauma, right? So what I'd end up doing was watching Lee Evans.
Right.
To make myself feel better, because he would do all this silly stuff and like, you're a wee guy, so you just kind of want to feel better. So I watched Hunter's Lee Evans, and I'd sit and watch him and go, that looks amazing what he's doing. Like, he's making people laugh and getting paid for it.
I was right into stand-up as well when I was younger.
But what could be better than that? Do you know what I mean? And then, I don't know, mate, see, for years, like, I just obsessed with like music and like trying to push a band, like push our band to try and do something, man, and that never worked. Because you think about it, you've got 5 people. So
then you would take the piss out of it?
Essentially, but you had 5 people and one wants to make it so fucking bad. Yeah. Like, I'd have killed my mum to make it. That's how much like I wanted to make it. And she's a bitch, kind of. No. But and then
the parentless podcast.
Other 4 were at uni, mate. Like, I bombed school because I went, fuck all that. All I want to do is make it. And they went to uni. They just wanted to get the safe job. This isn't me shitting on them. I'm not shitting on them because that's fucking great. And they're fucking doing what they're doing now. And it's amazing. But I never wanted that, mate. I always felt, even when I was like fucking 5, getting lettered off my dad and all that, like, I would think as he's battering me, I'd go, I'm going to make it one day. Well, honestly, I was sitting, that's how, like,
I've been like that as well, though. You can probably tell that, though. That's why we're sitting here talking shite.
Oh, fuck aye, mate. But I had this weird thing, like, that's how I've not even got my driver's license, mate. I always thought my first car was going to be like this mad Ferrari.
We'll just give all birds the ick right now. I mean, you've got green driving license.
But then you come to mate, you've passed it like 3 times, Jesus Christ.
That's the theory.
I know.
I'm well known in the theory centres.
But and then I went to Mercia, like, to play football. I went to college to play football, mate.
Were you good enough?
No, mate.
What's Mercia? The fuck's
so
that?
We went to like a camp. So Real Murcia, the Spanish football team.
Right.
But we went there, played all these mad Spanish teams and all that shit. See, the thing is, mate, I used to score, right? Don't know how. Right? I scored, I'm not even kidding, I scored like a 48-yarder. Right. And I went, don't know how I done it, mate. Just hit it. Just hit it. And everybody's like, you're fucking class. And I went, I'm shite, mate. I'm fucking shite.
I just threw my leg at the ball.
But went in. I remember, man, just telling her, I've got to be a professional, mate. Got to be professional. Couldn't be a professional, mate. I
thought I was going to be a professional footballer as well. Until I was about 16. All I played for was Straven Dynamo.
I didn't even start playing football until I was 14.
Really?
Aye.
That's all I done.
See, I didn't get all the stuff. This is what I do now. I know, like, mate, I'm into buying, do you know what Funkos are? Yeah, I'm not sure after this. But people are listening, it's like, you get them in a wee box and they're like a kind of bobblehead thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, I spent like $2,000, like, maybe in 6 weeks.
A Funko.
On Funkos, mate. And it's my missus. She just went.
I'm thinking about like the things you put in cars where the head bobs, like the Churchill thing.
No, it's kind of like that. I need to show you them, mate. And she just went, I went in one day, mate. I bought one Funko And this is like just backs up the obsessive,
Where'd you get them?
obsessive fucking behaviour, right? About
Where do you get them?
there's a place called Forbidden Planet, right? It's
Oh, I know what that
Far
is.
Mad Virgins, right?
I know exactly
Right?
what that is.
And I'm this pure in there like that, man, wearing the extra medium tap, man, muscled at my mind, just buying all these Funkos, just spending all this money. And she does running, she goes, you bought one and now you own like 300? Where the fuck happened? And I just went,
How?
can't stop buying them. Can't stop buying them.
How did you get into them?
I seen one. And I just bought them all. And
Have you got a picture then? I honestly have no
Oh,
idea what
mate.
you're talking about.
picture?
You'll know what that is.
I don't.
If you walk by Forbidden Planet in Sucky,
I've seen
there's
it.
a huge one in the window.
Fucking
Got like
hell.
wee white boxes. They've got a enlarged
Have they get like weird hair?
and like weird
Like thin hair?
mate.
Thin hair?
Right, so I just got that one for Kentucky. Right, it's like
Nah,
one
you're a-
division. Like it does
you're a
hundreds of
freak.
mad shit. Oh, I'll need,
I
to
thought I
find,
was weird. You're a freak.
I'll need to find a picture, mate. I laid them all out in the bed and it literally just harnels, man.
Do you still like them?
Love them. Mate, I'm
So
talking
that's
about,
your-
I'm talking, this is
when did you
recent.
start this?
This is recent.
How long ago? December?
6 weeks ago, mate. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And
So
it's
is
the
that
same-
your savings you're spending on that?
Everything. See, as soon as I get money. Mate, it was the same way. Right, so it's obviously stems back from not getting it when I was a child. So I
Right,
never
okay.
had anything. And it's the same with shoes. I'm obsessed with like fucking quality shoes. I actually watched the Michael Jordan documentary, mate. Same as that joke.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not kidding. Like, mate, so much money has just went into shoes and Funkos and some Legos now and then, right? You know what I mean?
Just stick up your arse.
I bought a shit ton of Lego and all. It's just because I never got it, mate. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm substituting for what I never had.
Is that what you've
I
related
mate,
it to?
like, I went.
Have
like,
you been to therapy?
Oh, I mate,
Have you?
Hunners. Aye,
Does it
mate.
help?
Like, within
You obviously
reason,
have to say it does.
within
Jacob.
reason, mate.
Jacob's here.
I feel as though it does, but see, I had to take therapy on a Zoom call during lockdown.
Oh, fuck that. That's
This
not
is
the
so-
same, is it?
So fucking funny, right? I actually like broke down greeting because I was so fucking depressed, mate, at the time.
Through cause of lockdown as well.
Aye, and obviously like it all just kind of bundled on me and all that. And then see during lockdown, mate, I must have been drinking every day, just
Really?
fucked out my face. Aye, like
Fucking
bad.
hell.
Like that's how.
The first one.
Aye, I can't really. Ever
I found the second and
drink.
third one
I just
worse.
binge. See when I
Was
have
it?
one sip, like it's not like I'm a mad alcoholic. It's just if I touch like a drink, it's like I'm Frank the
used to be
Tank
like
for the
that.
old school. Do you know what I
I
mean?
used-
Just gone. But mate, aye. So see during this Zoom call, talking to my therapist, and this is so fucking funny. Breaking down, man. Pure greeting and that, right? And she just goes like that to me. I'm actually so sorry. Like the connection just went away and the screen went blank. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? I've just sat and told you this intimate thing and I'm greeting and you're like, oh, my Wi-Fi's turned off. Yeah, I mean,
Did you still
she
stay with her?
retired. She actually retired. Not after that. Not actually went, I'm out. No, but she actually retired like recently too because it, not because of that, but just because she's old as shit. But aye, and I was like, you fucking boot.
Fuck's sake. That's
So,
absolutely brutal.
It's so funny, but into like,
No, it's funny, but it's only funny at the time. You must have been fucking
oh,
distraught.
mate, I was raging. The tears were just rage after it too, man. I actually said to her, I went, I'm going to fucking hang up on you. Like,
I could have battled you.
I'm gone. Where do you stay?
Fuck. And how did you find the Zoom ones compared to in person? Obviously,
Oh, mate,
wank.
super. I went, that was just the one time.
Yeah.
Because I said to her, I went like, I was in the verge of like, mate, proper topping myself.
My dad done physio over Zoom.
Physio? Is that not just having a
He
wank?
was like, never, ever again touching myself.
So I was going to say, is that not just like cam girls or some shit?
Mate, I done.
You done cam girls?
No, I done physio when they opened things up because I seen what happened. I seen what happened to my dad. So I was like, I'm not doing that until they open them up again.
Aye.
I went to physio in Uddingston and I didn't realise for 40 minutes that the guy that was giving me physio was blind.
How the fuck does that work?
Right,
That's some, like, Daredevil shit, isn't it?
the first giveaway, right, is I went in, he was typing on a keyboard that didn't have a screen.
He didn't know he was typing, but he's so blind, mate. He's like that. Thinking he's getting somebody a massage, but he's actually typing on a fucking keyboard.
He's typing on it, then he turns to me, he's wearing sunglasses. I'm still like, this is fine. this is completely normal. This is obviously what they do. Sat me down on the fucking thing, wanked me off. No, he didn't wank me off.
Of course he did.
And then he fell coming round the seat I still didn't know he was blind. Still didn't know. He'd like done all his thing for like half an hour. And then he's South African, so I was sitting chatting to him at the very end, like going over what everything that's happened. And he's like, I'm South African. And I was like, all right, when did you move here? Just asking him general chit chat. He's like, my family moved over. Then people on my street were getting shot. So I was like,
South Africa.
I went to him, did you have a gun? And he went, no, sure, I'm blind. Looking at me with the sunglasses. And I was like,
yeah.
Aye.
So you
I already knew.
basically got physio off Stevie Wonder.
Fucking.
Was that a keyboard? It was a piano he was playing.
And I tell people about what he diagnosed me with and all that, and they go, that
AIDS. just AIDS. Like, that's what I said, just straight up.
fuck.
I'm not even a physio, mate, but I'm going to assume you've got AIDS.
Mate, every time you go to physio, no matter what's wrong with you, you could have had your cunt kicked and you just go, it's your hip flexor.
Always?
Always.
That's just the answer.
Break your pinky toe, your hip flexor's a bit tight.
When did you take your trousers off? I always picture it as like being something like that. I've actually broke my hand. Can you please take your trousers off and we'll get you up there, mate? What? What's going on here?
Fuck's sake. Brutal, absolutely brutal, but the fucking... I'm still just remembering what you said.
But there's trying to kill myself. Thanks,
or
mate.
the dad stuff.
Thanks, mate.
The Zoom call stuff just can't. And it's the podcasts I tried to do in Zoom were horrific as well.
I could never do them. It's just, you need to be physically there. I need to read your body language.
Yeah.
Like, you could be pretending to laugh at something, you're actually, it's uncomfortable for you. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want that for anybody who comes on here.
Yeah, it's horrible. I tried to do like...
On here, I meant like mine. I feel so... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Words.
Good stuff. But we tried to do it, and it's like, but there's a lag as well. So it's like a second. So I feel like in Zoom you can't have an actual conversation. You have to be like, you talk, and then I'll wait till you stop. I'll forget what you're saying, so I'm just waiting for you to stop till I can go. Whereas we can at least have a wee bit of like, you can butt in or whatever if you have something funny to say.
Yeah.
That's it.
I never say anything. I just don't speak.
But the Zoom ones were awful. I can't even listen to Zoom ones either.
No, it takes away the full quality of an actual podcast, and you want to put out the best shit possible. That's what I always pride, like what I've done. I always wanted to be on fucking top, like put the best shit out. It may not have the most subscribers, listeners, or anything, but the people that do listen will come and they will hear the most best shit out there.
But the thing that bothered me about my last one is because we weren't doing it enough. I feel like you need, like, I feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this because it's different to all of the, like, I actually felt more comfortable on your podcast than I do right now. Do you know what I mean? So
because we're just basically doing the
it's the exact same thing, except I was sitting there and you were sitting here. But I don't know, it's cause you have to introduce it, then it's cause it's a different thing as well. And I know that cause you had your following that are all BAMs. And mine's all have blue hair, and I'm going to piss them off. See, I instantly get nervous.
They would not get on.
Oh, definitely
Fuck no.
Definitely not. So that's why I get nervous as well. It's because I know that I'm going to say something that's going to wind loads of people up. Like, even all the NHS stuff, I got so many people getting wound up.
But you're not shitting on the NHS. You're not.
I never shat on the NHS once. Well, no, I shat on the NHS, not the people that work for it.
Alright. Like, the system is fucked, and even the blue-haired idiots would admit that.
Yeah, a lot of the people that work for the NHS are like messaging me going, we know how fucked it is, we work within it. They're going to sack all their staff for not being vaccinated.
I seen that mad guy in the news talking about it and going, there's not enough, like, for me personally, evidence to get vaxxed. Not evidence, but what was the word? Evidence for it to help or some shit. That's what he said.
There's not enough. There's also
anti-vax before anybody goes after fucking that.
There's no long-term study of people getting jabbed every 3 to 6 months either.
I got jabbed last night. It was very sore. Very.
Did you get battered last night?
I get battered all the time, mate.
And sparring? Are you getting any better? I don't really know I didn't even really know that you were fighting that much.
No, I don't fight. Like, see, because I do the father's fight. Ross and I had done it for so long, right? And it's a MMA show that everybody legit thought I could fight, because I would say I battle Ross all the time.
Right.
Ross is a 240-pound professional light heavyweight fighter, mate. Like, he's an animal, mate. Machine. Ridiculous. And he always downplays himself, man, but that's why I fucking see Ross. Like, I just love him. See, when you meet somebody,
I love the fact he never knew what Love Island was.
Aye.
That just made me laugh so much.
I've never heard it. Just associate with him, didn't you?
So daft. It's so daft that he doesn't know what that is.
It's so shit that he can't be arsed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But Aye, everybody. And then I turned up to the gym, like, because I want to go and physically do the sport, because I feel as though I'm not a journalist or anything like that. I just want to know the sport, the ins and outs. I want to experience everything these fighters go through, right?
Is it what? So you can interview them?
Yeah, so I can...
Is that just so you, like, I know the process, so you
like,
feel like you can talk to them?
So, for instance, like, with a particular move, I would be able to, if he said stuff about it, I would be able to understand and process, and therefore maybe put it in simpler terms for a listener.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Whereas I wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Exactly. So the first time I actually went to the gym, like, just to train and learn, somebody just came up to me and goes, mate, you've no need for you to jump in the drills and that, mate. You know what you're doing. You better do all this. I was turning around and I went, mate, I know fuck all. Like, I know nothing. Do you think I can do a spin kick on Ross? He says, no chance, mate. Like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then obviously they start seeing me do stuff and they go, he does know nothing. But no, I've came a fair way in that, man.
When did you start?
5 months ago, mate. So been 5 months into it, and I actually got told, do not go to Sparm. You get stupid to go for, like, say, even I would say 5 months is kind of too soon, right, to go. Because obviously you don't want to actually physically get proper hurt, like, because you're not defending correctly and stuff like that. But I just started going...
Because they can act, like, it gets serious, sparring, doesn't it?
Aye, mate, like, I'm not going to talk about anything that we do in that, because it's kind of, it's gym etiquette. We don't really talk about shit like that as much, but mate, it's not, like, people always think, like, I hate that thing, like, especially the Scottish thing, like, Paul lost a fight, Paul Craig, like, he's a fucking top 10 elite UFC fighter, right? Crazy fucking good, mate, and, like, I get to see him now and then, like, training. I've had him on the podcast and it's fucking insane, like, to see how far he's came. He got beat one fight and everybody's like, he's fucking shite, I could batter him. I'm like, go to the gym and fight him then. You see what happens. You knock you out within, like, a set. You wouldn't even know. You'd wake up and you'd go, have I been knocked out? When am I fighting? Do you know what I mean? It's the same with Ross. Ross is just, he will tell people, literally, okay, see in the TikTok one, we hit like 100,000 on it, right?
On
Flex.
What do you mean, on a video?
On a video, we got like so much interaction and people are commenting because Ross had been battered off all these 16-year-olds for bumping their chips when he was pissed.
I seen that, yeah.
And loads of people are commenting on that, aye, fucking gimp that. And Ross just goes, come to the gym, we'll fight. We'll see if I can actually fight. He doesn't care. He'll literally batter them.
Do you think they would come?
No. They're just there. They're keyboard warriors, mate. That's where they are. But Ross would let them, mate.
Is he a psycho?
He's nuts, mate. He literally just spoke about
So I don't want to meet any of these
smoking
people.
heroin on the last podcast, mate.
He did it.
Aye, and drove a car and
I think our guests are going to be very different. I think
very
very different.
different. Aye, you have more like educated, nice people, and I just have bams.
What was it? The post you put up, the one comment that got, wee posh boy but talk sense. Talking
Aye,
about
that
me.
was James Gardner. He's been on this. Like, aye,
Wee posh
he's a
boy.
comedian. I think he meant any ill intent, but I mean, he's not posh. That's what I feel like. When I go, fuck me, he's like the polar opposite.
But I do speak like I'm not a bam, but
Aye, James has got a crazy story, man. Like, he's so interesting. That's what
I'll probably get some of the same people you've got on. I won't get any, not fighters, because I don't know anything about fighting.
Aye, mate.
I also don't want battered.
That's the one thing I do hate.
What?
I'm not saying you have to be an expert on particular stuff, but like, you see, don't get me wrong, I love when everybody gets that bread, right? Quality, get that fucking bread. But see when they get people on and they're fucking, there's like one podcast I was watching with Paul, right? And Paul's talking about this fight camp, right? He's right into it and all that, and he says this thing about, like, he goes, you miss the wee things in fight camp, like, because you're so focused, like, you can't even take your kids to McDonald's. And this, he goes, and how did the kid feel about not going to McDonald's? And I was like, why the fuck are you asking that question? Like, that's so stupid.
Just like, as in, just to get the going to a different...
try and keep the you have no other question to ask him about that fight camp other than if his Wayne didn't enjoy getting a Happy Meal.
Because they don't know anything about the full process.
Aye. I'm not saying you need to know it, but like, even you, like, you admit you don't know anything about it.
That's why I wouldn't get
You would be able to find more questions to ask about a fight camp than that.
Yeah, like the actual process behind it. But I would just, because you can ask that because you don't know. If anything, sometimes you can actually go into it in more detail because you don't know.
Aye.
So there'd be more to talk about.
And
Whereas
the kid not getting chicken nuggets is fuck all to do with it.
Fucking hell. I've just noticed that there's loads of BAMs doing podcasts now.
I was included.
Well, I'm not a BAM, I'm a wee posh boy.
Well, excited James, man, honestly.
Wee posh boy.
You watch this day, man. James is a good guy.
What
You
was I gonna
should get
say?
him on. Like, he's not just about comedy. Like, his story's insane, mate.
About
He
what?
played professional football in the Philippines.
That the jewellery guy.
Aye.
Is that who that is?
That's who that is, mate.
Right. So I didn't look at his profile. So I've
DJ
seen
first,
you're on my For You page all the
First
time now.
DJ, mate, to be live in Chile.
Right. What the fuck? That's
Toured
so
the
random.
whole of America doing
I
all
seen the
colleges.
Philippines one. That's random.
Aye.
And I seen that he was on the jewellery thing, and his jewellery got
Funny as
fucked
hell,
or something.
Literally try to sell this fucking bracelet, and as he puts it, he goes, "It's a very nice bracelet," and as he does it, whole thing snaps.
Did that go viral?
What?
Did that?
Nah,
clip?
mate.
I thought it was like something viral happened or whatever.
No, it was just live on the QVC, like
do you know what
biggest
happened?
jewellery channel.
Do you know what happened to me? See, when I used to busk on
Mm-hmm.
Buchanan Street, a wee 16-year-old cunt from Dundee, his mate filmed him running and just booting my ball away in the middle of a show on Lad Bible within half an hour.
Was it?
Like 3 million views. Everyone I ever knew.
And they're not even at you at it.
No.
They're uploaded that shit in there.
Nah, they never. I think Sport Bible then uploaded it as well. Mate, everybody, like, you know, when one of those pages uploads some, so at 3 million on Lad
Aye.
Bible, but I mean, everybody seen
Everyone
it.
will see that.
Everyone seen, and everyone, like, if they seen me, well, they obviously knew it was me. They didn't know, nobody knew my name, but they just knew it was that cunt that was in the video. So it fucking tortured me for like a month. My dad even tagged me and he was like, "Have you seen this?" I was fucking there.
I took part in it actually.
Obviously,
It was
I've
my
seen
ball.
it. Obviously, I've seen
Aye.
it. I was lying up like this, but fucking some daft shit's happened to me as well with that sort of thing. I'd have expected that to go viral if anyone had the clip. Does he have the clip?
I put the clip on it.
Did you?
So it was during the podcast we spoke about it, and then literally I just clipped the clip of him fucking breaking that bracelet onto it.
How did he get into that job? Is he just one of these cunts that just walks his way into stuff?
He worked for TV all his life. Like he worked for Satanta
Right, I remember them, yeah.
Sports. So he was a big producer on it.
I just have a feeling they're all gangsters. I don't know why.
Nah, they're not. Like, James isn't a gangster. He's just a normal guy, man. He's got a crazy story.
Since I've started talking to you, it's just I feel like everybody's a gangster.
No, mate, come on. I don't even know any of them.
No?
Not one of them. No, but that's how I met James. Did a show at the Junkyard, and he's so nice, mate. Like, sometimes like comedy and that, you're kind of, when you go to like a green room, not really a green room at all at the Junkyard, but you know what I mean? You kind of have
What
this
is the
wee-
junkyard in town?
No, it's in Hamilton.
I know what you're talking
It's
about.
great.
I was like, surely he doesn't mean that because I
Aye.
went to school in
See,
Hamilton.
they stand up there.
Do you?
Aye, mate. Like Pablo ran it, and now it's
I've just been for lunch.
Stephen Youngstown does it, and mate, it is good. It's very good. And I met a lot of comedians there, and that's how I got them on the podcast and stuff like that. That's how I met James, and like James literally straight away, because I'm quite like away to talk to everybody. I want to get everything clean, like try and have like the fucking best night ever. I know I'm nowhere near close to being like I'm a professional comedian or whatever you want to class it as, but I still want to put on a great show and have everybody put on a great show, because if one person has a good show, it's going to kind of just, it's kind of spirals.
I think comedians will have a better time if they all
Get
like
along?
yeah. So if they all have a laugh behind.
Aye, but you
in the
notice it
background.
like with the PT industry as well. It
PT's
can get better, like it can. So like I went up and see sometimes like trying to introduce yourself. Oh, hi, I'm Sean. How you doing? It's kind of like, all right, hiya. Don't talk to you.
Yeah.
But see with James, it was like, all right, mate, how you doing? I'm James. You ready to go and all that? Like you just proper like me, just
Yeah.
want to have a good time. And it was weird because it was like a night and it was like you meant to do like a kind of story. So it was like a story about you and like try and make it comedic. Comedian words. My dad did this for a living, Taylor. No, but then he did this whole story about like the shopping channel and like the Philippines, and I went, that's it, podcast guest instantly. That's insane. Got him on, man, and he
I've not watched that full one. I'll
made me
watch
learn
it.
a lot. Like see, even off camera, he was taught me so much.
Yeah.
I see about like
What about-
professionalism and stuff like that.
So not what about comedy? So he's a stand-up now as well.
Aye, brilliant.
Is he?
Brilliant. I used to not like his stand up, but then I had that whole period of being like the person who I described to you there, who I just had that period of falseness. Like I was going up and being
Bitter.
nice to everybody, and then but like going, I don't know, mate. It's because like I fucking love it so much, and I see somebody do something, and I go, you've not put all that effort into that joke. Why would you not do that? Do you know what I mean? But then I'm not, and then I was sitting looking at myself going, hey, but mate, you should respect every single comedian that goes up, regardless. And
I respect
just
anyone that
realised
stands on a stage and fucking, because I know I would absolutely I shat myself introing this podcast.
Aye.
So like if I done stand up, I would absolutely shit myself.
Suppose it was just a kind of bit of insecurity for myself, mate. That's what I would say.
I think that's
I'd
what it
admit
is. I think once you get like more people coming to your shows and stuff,
Yeah.
you'll probably feel that you don't feel like that anymore.
No,
It's
I
just
don't.
at the
See, now I don't care. Like I just go, everybody, let's go.
Because PTs is the same. Honestly, see if you
Aye.
just walk into a gym and they kind of know you're a PT and you just maybe say something to them, they're looking at you straight away. It's like, man, I'm not trying to steal your clients.
The thing is, but like everybody, I don't think the general public don't understand that. There's so much money to go around in the world. Like it's crazy,
Yeah,
mate.
there's so much money in fitness and PTs, and 80% of PTs fail, and it's only because they're fucking idiots. Like, because there's
No offense.
what is it? What's the population of people that are obese in the UK? It's like fucking like 60%.
99%. I think. They're all fat,
So it's
they're
like-
all fat cunts.
And
No fat cunts.
he said it, not me.
I
If you've
actually got
got
fat
blue
shamed.
hair, he said
I
it.
got fat shamed live on the podcast by
Off of
Ross.
who? Did he just
Yep.
call you?
He went, mate, you're like fat fuck now, aren't you? That's how I've just been hitting everything like fuck. It was during Christmas Day and I went, cheeky bastard. So I went, all right, I need that, but
What, being told you're fat?
yep.
See that?
I like the
so
raw-
that's the
I like the raw honesty.
Hmm.
I don't like things to be sugar coated.
right.
So, but I'm different. I'm not saying everybody should be like that.
Yeah.
Like get told, oh, you're fat fuck. Get the fucking thing of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me.
So
Like,
have
it does.
you lost a bit since then?
No, mate, I put on, but I'm getting leaner and bigger at the same time. Do the maths. Steroids, mate.
Yeah, that's what
Loads.
I was gonna say.
My arse is
Stay-
like a pincushion.
Jink, well, I'm not gonna put you under the bus, but Jink, your gym, there's loads of it going on.
Nobody talks.
Nobody
I couldn't
says
tell you.
anything.
I don't know.
That's what I think. It's like that in every gym, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Like
My strength and conditioning gym or MMA gym?
both,
Well, see the strength.
Both?
See the strength and conditioning one. Everybody talks about it
right?
openly. Fuck. What? Yep. And I go, good for you, mate. I don't care.
They're definitely all
That's what I
at
was
it in
telling you
the
about. The
gyms.
people always ask me. See, I've got big traps and I'm.
And I was like that. Do you know anyone that can do my bloods? You were like, obviously not.
No,
So
not
just
at
what
all.
you did.
I but like a guy. This is so funny. I used to train with this guy, and he was just starting out, right? And he'd say this thing to me all the time. He goes, "Mate, I'll be with you, right?" He goes, and all the big guys come up, they don't even look at me, and they just talk to you. But I'm right next to you, so you would think they would go, "All right, mate, how you doing?" But nah, they would just ignore him, just because I look like a big fucking juice box.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'm obviously, mate, I'm not like. I always tell people like I don't particularly like needles.
I
So-
hate needles. Why, Jink? I'm so fucking infuriated at the NHS.
But they used to just come up to me and go, "Hi mate, how you getting on? Getting the bucket?" And my mate would just be sitting there like, "Please talk to me." I'm like, "You get the handy, bro. Don't
Have
worry."
you ever thought about it?
Oh, loads, mate.
So you've never touched any of them?
Never.
You would say if you did anyway, wouldn't you?
Aye, mate. What have I got to hide? I'm not competing in it.
Yeah, I would say if I would as well.
Aye.
But I've got no need
It's
to.
not a big deal, mate. Like I tell you all the time, I think.
Do you know why it should be talked about? Because there's so many fucking 17-year-olds that are starting to do it. They don't have a fucking clue what they're
idiots,
doing.
mate.
Well, it's not their fault. They're too young. I done daft stuff when I was 17. It's the fucking older people that are telling them to do it.
I mean, just
and
a wee
then
bit of test, even though your testosterone's ultimately the
through
highest
the
level.
roof. That's why you're wanking 6 times a day. You don't need fucking
That's
more. of it.
rookie numbers. Fucking hell, you guys need to up them. What's going on?
But that's like you just see so much of it.
Have you ever missed the bus going to school because you've just been chugging the load? Nah, mate. I used to do it all the time, man.
I used to stay off school.
Mum pure screaming and that. Hurry up, the bus is here, and I'm just wanking. And I just miss the bus all the time, mate, and I just have to walk to school, man. I'd obviously get the shower after I wanked, God's sake. I'm not a dirty bastard.
You still go into school? Why were you late?
Aye, still do it now, aye.
Present.
25, that's me here, guys.
But I would probably do. I think I'd do a testosterone replacement when I'm older.
You'd have to.
I think I
I
will.
think every guy should do it. Like
Yeah.
when you hit, what, 35, 40? That kind of range.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll become more a thing as well. It won't be looked down upon.
Aye, more doctor prescribed,
Yeah.
would you say? Yeah, I know
I
they
think-
do it in America, but did they do it here? They do it here as well, yeah.
Yeah, replacement therapy, definitely.
Aye.
They do it with women as well.
Aye.
They do it with women that are hitting the
Aye, we
menopause
were
and
talking
shit.
about the fucking estrogen shit and all that.
Yeah,
Aye.
they're starting to realise that because that's why women are so fucked when they get to like 40 and shit and they don't realise it because of
Aye.
either menopausal or premenopausal, perimenopausal. I can't remember. Peri chips. I don't know.
Must be shite getting to that age, but and not being able to fuck each other. because you're physically repulsed by the look of them. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding. No, but like
your hormones have literally
that's what I'm
put
saying.
you
Like,
against each other. It's like you wanted to shag each other, and then it's the opposite.
and then once sex goes from a relationship, it just kind of that's it. Until it tipples down, like you just start to resent one another.
Because you won't shag each other.
Aye, mate, because sex is a lot into it in relationships. It has to be, mate, because like that whole animal.
I've never
instinct with one
stopped.
another.
Like I've broke up with them, but it's never like we've always been
Aye,
having
sex has
sex
been
and
quality.
then stop. Well, we've just parted ways, but it's never. So I've never really experienced that.
No,
We
never.
just
I'm just
fucking hated each
I'm just
other,
saying,
even
like,
though we want to shag
when
each
you
other.
get older into it, that kind of thing of like looking good for each other and all that stuff, like it just all kind of goes, and I would hate that.
Yeah.
Like I always want to be with my missus, man. I always want her to just look at me and go, "I better rip the fucking clothes clean off him."
Is that why you're putting all the
Aye,
weight
mate,
on?
that's why I'm just getting
Eating
so
everything.
jacked right now and just fucking looking at him going, "That's right,
Eating
you know."
everything. See, when you asked me that relationship question on the last podcast, I couldn't have dodged it more. I nearly ran out that front door.
I know, mate. I was like, he's
You were
out,
like,
he's out.
"What? How do you feel about relationships?" And I was like,
It wasn't
no.
that generic, guys. We were actually talking about a whole thing before it.
I was just like, no, no. See, when you said that, so you said in the last podcast, you reckon you were crazy, because I'm not going to dodge it this time. So you said you reckon you were crazy, and you reckoned
Not in like a mad, like, oh, guys, I'm so crazy.
no,
Not that way.
actually not. Sorry.
Aye.
And you said you had a toxic relationship before.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I just got battled, mate, off her all the time.
Actually,
Like, genuinely, I mean, I'd never experienced any form. So, this was mad.
is she fared you?
I'm not. Aye, mate. She lives at this address if anybody wants to go to your house. No, but I'd never actually experienced what actual love or affection was, right, mate? Because I come from, like, I'm fostered. But there's a class quote about depression. It's like, you're at home, but you don't feel at home.
Right.
So it's the feeling of being at home, but you're not home, right? And that's what I'd always basically felt. And I say to my missus on now, I says, like, I feel home, like, when I'm with you. This isn't the toxic one. But prior to that, that's her bitch, man. But prior to that, I'd never actually felt any form of, like, proper love or affection or, like, a pure family feel. And that's nothing to do with my foster parents, mate. They're so loving and they were always there for me and all that part of all that stupid shit, right? But I'd basically got this girlfriend, head over heels, mate, patched every cunt,
Yeah.
everybody.
It's the typical thing you do with the first one as well, isn't it?
And I started noticing wee things like I had these best lassie pals. I wasn't fucking them, you're allowed to actually have lassie pals, right? And very close to them, mate. And she sent what the lassie pal sent me, oh, Merry Christmas. I was with my missus, ex-missus at the time, and she goes, literally mails that bird. You mail my boyfriend again, I'll come kick your cunt in. She's fucking crazy, mate.
That was our word choice as well. Kick your cunt in.
Yep. And I went, God, this is so hot. What's going on here?
Let's fuck.
Nah, but just like shit. And then you start noticing like wee things. And then literally, mate, she chased me around the house with a knife because she couldn't find her iPad. And
Did you hide it?
I went, holy shit, must have been my fault. I didn't even know you had an iPad. Do you know what I mean?
So how long did it take you to go over that? How did you break up and all that? I want to know everything.
I basically just had enough of getting battered, mate. So I just kind of
One
went,
stab wasn't too many.
I've literally been stabbed from my hand. Not by her. It was by my father. My biological one, I genuinely. I didn't eat mashed potato, so I put a knife through my hand. How mad's that?
I don't really have any words for these sort of things.
I know. I'm just getting feelings in here. No, but
I feel like the screen just turned off.
It did, mate. Is this my Zoom call with my therapist? But then, I don't know, mate, you get to the realisation, and then my mates started to kind of come round me again and go, like, I started basically
So did you break up with her?
Aye, mate.
Did you just go, I've had enough?
I'd broke up with her, but then because I'd missed the feeling of actually, so she'd actually made me feel part of her family, and I was like, I actually have a family.
Right.
And then I had missed the feeling of my granddad had just died.
Right.
And all the feelings of...
So that's your biological one?
Aye. So I was quite close to him.
Right.
And then, but once he died, that was it. I cut all ties with biological family. I went, this is it. I'm done. So he'd passed, and then you want that feeling, don't you, of like affection and like love and try and get that kind of family feeling again. I stupidly had like tried to go back to her and all that, mate, and I got this kind of
after you broke up with you, tried to go back?
She was obsessed with me like in that way of like, I will murder him if he does anything, right? and I'm not saying I would murder her, right? But I would now, but but I got that way of like, oh, I need her. I need that feeling again.
Yeah.
I need it so I can get my serotonin and get some fucking happiness here.
Because you're distraught on your own, and then you always.
And that's what, mate. She sent me these crazy fucking things. I'm in. My dad had died not when I was going out with her, and I was like, holy shit, like this is mad. And mate, she sent me this message, right? Because I got so pure obsessed, I kept mailing her, right? Mate, it's so funny. I made like 3 different Facebook accounts, and she blocked me on all of them. I just get mailing her. And I was like, just
make another one.
Just give me love. I just want loved. Right? Obviously, that's very bad, mate, and that's fucking weird doing that shit, right? But good to laugh about it, But, and she just sent me this message going like that. You'd be glad your dad's not alive to see the piece of shitting on it here now. And I was like, Jesus, fuck.
Fucking hell, that's
and I was
disgusting.
Like, he just died like 6 months prior to my granddad dying. So, like, the 2 big father figures in my life had, like, basically passed all in this one succession.
Oh, for fuck.
And she had just hit me with the final blow, and I was like, okay, I'm doing every drug in sight.
You done that?
I mean, I was like, do you know, like the wrestler CM Punk? Like, I was straight edge as fuck, mate. I hated drugs and that. And
What age are you talking?
I don't know, mate. Maybe 20.
Right.
And
you just went straight to the
I
smack?
mean, I wasn't even into drinking or anything like that, too, man. But then, obviously, I think I just put all things to the back for so long, like all the trauma, and it had just, that final blow of her, like, basically hitting me with that, had just made me.
See, when you say you put the trauma out of the back of your head, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you were mentally fit, like you felt mentally fine? So, like, everything that happened to you, you hadn't grieved it, but it was still there? Is that what you mean?
Aye, like.
So would you say you were, like, obviously you would say that you were
my whole life, mate. That's what I was.
But would you say you were upset, or you were just, like, numb to it all? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was numb, mate. Aye, because my foster mum, like, she's like, honestly, mate, like the greatest woman ever. Her and like my foster dad. So that's when I say my dad's dead. Like, that's who I mean, right? Mate, see, their whole life, like, they couldn't physically have children, right? So they adopted 3.
Right.
Like, 2 of them were brother and sister, like, biologically. Adopted them. And I adopted my brother Robert. Just adopted them, mate, and then went, we can do more. We can look after more children. Like, these are great people, so I just started fostering, mate. They've been fostering for like 40 years.
Like,
maybe longer, mate. Aye, just.
So they just bring you up until you're like 20 and then be like.
Aye, but like,
next.
I'm in this weird thing of like, so see when you're like a foster child and that, like, you're not meant to stay with people that long. Mate, I've been there like 18 years.
You still in that house?
Still there, mate. Aye, and that's my mum. Like,
right.
that's my home now, essentially. Aye, and just they took me in, mate, and I was so. Now you're talking about Houston. I stayed in a foster home in Houston, this big posh area, and I'd went
in
from,
London.
What? Oh no, in Glasgow.
That's what I was talking about. I was talking about London.
Oh wait, there's one in Glasgow now, mate.
Houston.
Aye.
Is there?
Aye. It's fucking minted, mate. Right. But I'd went from with my biological parents. Like, my mum went away from my dad because he was fucking nuts, mate. Right. And I think that's how I got a lot of mental tendencies from. Like.
Yeah. Right. So, see, after you broke up with her,
yes,
and you, how did you rebuild yourself up? I know you said about your mates, but what was the because you said you're now in a healthy one. So I went from not a healthy one, rebuilt myself up and fucked myself in another unhealthy one, but it was like the opposite way about. So you've got yourself in a healthy one.
Don't know, mate. It just took ages.
How long were you single for?
Years. Aye, mate. Fucking about, aren't you? You're trying to find something that's not that.
Not the last one.
Aye.
So I think if you go straight into another one, you go back into the same sort of situation.
Well, this is what I always tell everybody. See people that jump from relationship to relationship, you're passing every feeling that you previously had onto the next. So you need time to physically heal, and I needed years.
That takes a long time. I don't think I got over the first one for like.
Did you see that stupid thing? And it's like per year or something. It takes like per the month.
That's a load of bollocks.
That's bullshit, mate. Because I could go out with somebody for a year and it could be the most torturous thing ever. It could take fucking 20 years to get over.
Somebody could tell me they don't want to go out with me and it'd take me 2 years.
Exactly. Oh no.
Do you want to go for a drink? No.
Aye. But no, I just something about her. Like, mate, it took me ages to even go out with her, but.
Right, why?
On him with, because I'm just so scared of anything happening again.
You put up a barrier, didn't you? After the first one, I think that's why I ended up in the second one was like, so I was really insecure in the first one, but I was never insecure before I was with her. Do you know what I mean? But then when cause I'd never really been shown love that way. I grew up with my mum. My mum was really.
I love you, bro. Forever.
my mum was really depressed, right? So she always said she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do with me. She said,
fuck off, man.
She was like, she never knew what to do with me.
I get that, mate, because my biological mum was like that too. She was so scarred from her previous. Yeah. She didn't know what to give.
So my mum's mum never shown her love, and she was horrible to her. So she was just fucked from that, and then obviously stems down. And so I think cause she genuinely did really like me or whatever, I was just fucking didn't have a clue what was going on and just had an absolute meltdown. And I think cause you get so fucked from it, you end up I just had such a, and I was single for like 3 years before I went for the next one. But I think I deliberately went out with someone that I knew couldn't really do that to me.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So that I'm like, because I knew that I was.
You picked like the polar opposite of what the previous is.
So it was like the girl I was going out with the first time, she like had all the power or whatever. Yeah. As in because I was the one that was fucked.
You were a simp.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next one, it was a complete opposite because I just refused to get in that situation again. But you don't mean it. You actually don't mean it. It's like I couldn't physically, if I went out with a girl that I kind of liked and I felt remotely insecure, I wouldn't have fallen in love with him. I would just run like fuck. That's what I would do. So,
we have this mutual thing where it's like, there's no fucking about here. Yeah. But it's us. That's it. Yeah. There's no one's superior or anything like that. There's no degrading. It's like, we've got a fucking issue as well. It has to be addressed. Like instantly. We don't bottle it up and we don't wait to 3 weeks down the line and one of us fucking explodes in the other and not in a sexual way.
Yeah, that was like my last one. I would just be like, wait till someone's had 3 bottles of wine. And then it's fucking.
And mine is like, she's so nice, mate. I've never met anyone so nice. Like, she actually cares. Like, genuinely, see when I talk to her, she listens. Like, she's actually wanting to know more. You know that way when you talk to somebody and they go, oh, how are you? Just so you can ask them so they can tell you everything. Yeah. She's not like that. She's genuinely asking, how are you? Like, tell me. And that's like something, that fucking cuts me, mate. Like,
so tell me about how you wouldn't go out with her. Like, tell me about what actually was going on. So you're seeing her and then you would just, as in you didn't want to commit to her because you were too scared?
I blame them. Not too scared, just in the fact of like, I had to, it was weird. It's like I was ticking, not physically ticking boxes, but mentally in my head, I was ticking things off to see if anything like. Looking
for the last ones, what she was doing, so I just got that, put a knife next to her. Aye. She didn't chase me with it.
She didn't even pick it up.
She spread her toast.
She's like, is that what you want with it? No, but I don't know, mate, just took a while for me to be more comfortable with her and actually, obviously, physically fall for her, like more and more. Obviously, like, see the second I seen her, man, I was like, fuck me, you're so hot. Yeah. Like, crazy attractive, man. And I tell her that every day, mate. Like, I've never met MD so fucking nice, like, in my life. And that's obviously to me, mate. And the thing is, like, we just big each other up. Like, she couldn't be more excited for the fact that I was coming here today. Mm-hmm. Like, last night, she's like, good luck and just fucking, you fucking love it. You know him, so everything's going to be fine. I was like, all right, I didn't say anything was going to be not fine. Like, I know what I'm doing. What the fuck's going on here?
I'm a podcaster. I'm going on with someone that doesn't really podcast. He doesn't have a clue what he's doing.
No, but like, even see like the TikTok thing, like her just telling me to do that. Yeah. And it just made me do it because I'm like, why wouldn't I? And then see last night, she said about the bio thing because I put in my videos, link in bio, but it was on just the wee Instagram thing you click and it goes on to like the YouTube. But she says, no, you can physically put it in your bio. So I literally done it and it's just what do you mean? Things. Like when you go into TikTok, you can put an actual link to your website. I didn't know that.
You can put a link tree. Aye. Do that because then you can bring up your podcast, Spotify and all that. If you look at mine, I've got a coaching thing, then I've got a free program, then I've got like my website. Aye. And then mine's just because I get so many from TikTok, I've got one that just says follow me on Instagram, even though I've got my Instagram thing just so they come over. Because the ones that the people that follow your podcast and your Instagram way bigger than the people that just follow you on TikTok because you came up on your For You page. Aye. You like want to transfer them over. It's like TikToks is like mini adverts for what you do.
We've went up 113 subs in 3 weeks, and
that's class.
That's from TikTok.
Class. So you want to what you want to do is get as much of them as you can, then transfer them over to other things. So you actually want them to get ideally you want them listening to the podcast because they might just watch your clips. there'll be loads that just watch your clips and will never actually watch the podcast. But as soon as you get them watching the podcast, like, you'll be sorted.
Yeah. No, it's just that's what I'm saying. Just like you need somebody there, don't you, to just kind of help you with the smallest of details that you might miss.
Yeah.
And that's what she does, even in just general life.
What is it she does again?
She's a manager for a shop, assistant manager for a shop. I'm not going to say shop because I don't want any cunt going to do it, because I would go down to the shop and murder everyone in it.
So your crazy side hasn't left then,
Fuck no. No, like I'm just kind of protective of what's mine. Like I wouldn't let MD fuck with her at all. I mean, like in this, I don't mean like, oh, I'm Jill's boyfriend. I mean in the sense of like, if someone came up and literally told her to fuck off or something, I'd go off my nut and just leather them
straight away.
Aye, mate, no fucking about. Like,
see, I've never been like that at all.
No, I'm for fucking, but mate, I'm for like Millcroft, Springburn. So you not for Springburn?
No, I'm from View Park, but that's no any better.
Aye, like,
like not even
you're
slightly
from
better.
this pure working class shithole background where like, mate, I literally, someone opened my door when I was 5, just opened the door, came in, knocked me clean out. The guy was 18
When you were 5?
in Millcroft, mate. I mean, knocked out.
We had to move from that. I told you that, didn't I? We had to move from that call because I had a Celtic top on and got spat on.
That's funny. Fuck me.
Spat on and just moved straight away.
I don't know. Yeah, it feels like you come from that background. You're just like, there's just no shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's we fight here and that's it over. And, like, obviously, as a comedian, you need to go, I bet your wit's your biggest power. But I'm like, sometimes it's just not. Like, sometimes there's just some dickhead who, I'm not being at a comedy show, somebody fucking tries and like heckles me. I'm going to obviously go in the moment and do that shit.
Just go
I just go,
you.
hold on the fucking new you. Just lay him out. I just mean like,
Do you ever seen the clip of Jerry Cinnamon
No.
going off his nut at people and that were shouting stuff out at his gigs, saying he was going to battle them and all that?
There you go.
Like
He's a schemer.
yeah, he's definitely his
Aye,
side.
mate. Actually, the band used to get produced by the same guy that produces all his stuff.
Is it?
Chris Marshall.
So he would do that.
he's a great
genuinely
guy, mate. And Chris Marshall, actually, Jerry Cinnamon's name saved his life once. He was walking home and these two guys literally pulled up with knives. And then one of their pals came and goes, no, mate, that's the guy that does that Jerry Cinnamon's music. And they just started smoking roll-ups after it. And I went, mate, they've literally nearly fucking tried and stabbed you and now you're smoking a cigarette. That's mad. Off the power of just knowing a guy.
knowing Jerry Cinnamon.
Aye.
Sometimes the scheme works out for you, doesn't it?
Oh, mate. Scheme's hilarious, man. Mate, there's a guy who used to stay like 2 doors down with a fucking shotgun. I'm like, mate, do we live in Texas? So this is Millcroft. What's going on here?
Did I tell you about when I came back from Australia?
No.
I was telling this to somebody and I didn't know if it was you. So see, but 2 days after I'd moved back, bear in mind I just lived in Melbourne and Sydney next to the beach, moved back into my council estate in View Park. I'd had to isolate for the 14 days. Second day, some guy just blood all down his face, and I live in like a cul-de-sac in the corner. Some guy, blood all down his face, limps, and like I'm at the corner and then there's another corner, limps down my neighbour's driveway, and like he looks absolutely fucked. And I'm like, and I obviously can't leave the house either, so I'm peering out the fucking blinds and I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like trying to climb my neighbour's bushes. Then I look to the bottom of the street and there's just a humongous bald cunt in a Range Rover standing there with a baseball bat, and I'm just like that.
Quality.
Put the blinds back down and we like sat down and went, oh, good,
And watched it.
good to be back. You know, I'm glad to be back. But he's obviously just battered fuck out in my street. There's no drug dealers in my street, like I can tell you that.
No.
Well,
Of course not, mate.
just number 10.
Aye. And 12 and 14 and the whole street.
But you're just standing there, like, what the because I always forget that Glasgow is fucking wild.
Aye, mate.
Like, but see if you just walk about town now, it's a bit nicer now.
Aye.
And then
It's a bit less shit.
yeah,
Still not nice.
there's
like-
still wild stuff going on.
Aye.
Like, absolutely wild. That guy's just still lying in my neighbour's garden. Fucked.
Probably, mate. Aye. He's actually been there for a month.
Fucking nuts. But the scheme definitely...
It moulds you, mate. It does. It really. Because
It's definitely gave you your humour.
Humour?
Humour?
My humour, mate.
Your
Give me
humour.
that.
It definitely has.
Definitely, mate. And like, trauma, it does, if you're actually a comedian, like, trauma is probably the best thing you could ever get. Because it just bursts fucking class material.
Yeah.
Always, mate.
It's the relatable stuff as well, isn't it?
Aye. And you find the most funniest things in the most fucked up situations.
Like the NHS thing is probably the best stuff I've come out with.
See what I mean?
Just losing my mind. Literally just going through a mental breakdown is like but I was laughing at some of the stuff I was doing. I was actually pissing myself and I was like, every now and then something like this has to happen to me because it's just where my best humour comes out.
You find that with everybody. Like, see, I have this thing that I always say is like, see the most talented and like smartest people, they always have the most fucked up things. But they do it like, look at, so I had Nathan Evans on and we were talking about how he met Ant and Deck, right? And I made so many fucking Deck jokes, like because he's obviously a raging alky,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, but you need to remember how talented he is. That's why he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because he can't, like, I feel as though see sometimes in your brain, it can't fathom all this fucking shit, like mad great fucking creativity, that you need something bad to kind of even it all out. And that's what I feel as though like with MD. Like that's how I think I'm low-key fucking nuts. Like,
Because there's too much going on in your head at the
mate,
one
there's
time.
so much shit. Like I've got so much plans that I want to do, and like I'm always trying to think of like shit.
Does your bird ever, like, can you ever, like, sometimes not focus on what she's saying?
Yeah,
My
I was
dad
in-
gets raging at
like
me for
in
that.
bed with the other night, like, and I'm on like on TikTok, like looking at analytics on YouTube, and I'm like reading a fucking news article, going, look at this could be funny, like this bit here and do that, and she's like, can you shut the fuck up? We're trying to watch Enchanto.
Yeah, my dad gets fuming at me all the time. Like, he bought a new van, and he'll just go, "Do you like the new van?" I'm like, "I never noticed." He's like, "You walk past it. You actually
I
walk
had that
past
all the time
it."
with my mum, all the time. She was like, "Have you got new lamps now?" And
I
was
drove
like,
you to the train station in the new
I
van.
actually said something about the van, like when we were in it.
He done it one. See, when I was about 18, he went through a midlife crisis.
Right?
He started going in Gumtree and just buying bangers, like for like 300 to 500
Like,
quid.
do them up and sell them.
Well, that was the plan, but he's just sold them for the same price because he can't. He can't do up cars because he's not a fucking mechanic.
No way. What a dick.
He
What a
fits
dick, man.
kitchens.
Why didn't he just buy old kitchens?
He's a fucking fanny, but he can. So what he would do as well is he put them under my name, and I couldn't drive as well, so I would come back and he'd set up all these appointments where people come see the cars.
That's amazing. All right, Gavin, mate. It's actually my son. But
And I would come back and I go, "What's wrong with the car?" And it's like, "Oh, do you know what? I've got another one lined up. Just like having to make up." I was like, "Why are you telling them they're mine? Just say they're yours." It just makes everything so much harder.
'cause you're there.
It's so difficult. You've put yourself in this situation buying bangers that you can't sell for anymore. Stop putting me through the trauma as well. I'm gonna have to, because I get so embarrassed by stuff like that.
Of course.
I get so embarrassed. I can't drive, mate.
Aye.
I can't make it up. I can't tell you about what motorway I'm going to drive on because I don't know fucking any of the motorways because I get the fucking train with all the blue hair cunts.
Aye, with the cool cunts.
With the fucking Rangers fans.
I can't believe your dad did that, man.
He's a psycho. Like I was telling Jacob earlier about just how he is actually nuts. And I just realised I'm going to tell this because I was actually going to have this podcast and just try to tell mental stories that maybe have happened to me and you.
You knew
But-
it shit because I was coming on. Before that.
And a bit not far from here, right? So when I was 16, my dad asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I was like,
I knew Dad.
I want an iPhone because I'm a
I got
virgin.
on an iPad, man. My missus be chasing me. No,
And I was like, because I was still a virgin, and I was texting birds,
16?
and it was yeah.
sorry, mate. Sorry.
And then, but I was
So you know he didn't come to the screen.
I was going to say, man. Get shagged in a flump at 8, didn't Millcroft?
with a flump.
If you want, it's up to you, man. I don't know your sexual preferences.
Anyway, took me ages to text a bird because I'm obviously pressing fucking 7 times to get to a number and all that. So that's why I was
Is
a
that the
virgin.
aubergine?
So I was like, "Can I get the iPhone?" And he's like, "No worries." But my dad can't do anything without getting a deal. He's physically incapable. So he's like, "I've got it off the back of a truck." And see when I was
here we go.
see when I was 16, I genuinely used to think it was trucks that fell over and people have grabbed what's in the back of them. That's what I used to think.
Your dad's there nicking all these iPhones. I mean, I got a deal for 20 iPhones in a box.
So I was like, right, fine. I knew you were going to do that anyway. You couldn't spend 100 quid more on the iPhone sound. A week later, the signal on it goes.
Fucking hell. Is that fake? Is that
He's
fake
a-
iPhone?
No, it was. I think they were stealing them from somewhere,
Right.
and then it was getting reported that they were stolen. So then they were selling them before it was reported stolen.
Right. That's fucking funny.
And I was like, obviously, no. But this is what this is how psycho he is. He was like, right, so he's not answering the phone. I was like, obviously, you tit.
Aye.
He knows who you are. He's just sold your stolen phone. He was like, when I'm 16, he's like, what we're going to do is you're going to ring him and you're going to tell him you want 2 new iPhones.
Right.
Because he's still...
Give the price of one.
Yeah, because he's still selling them on Gumtree. So I'm ringing him, literally like shaking, going, I want to buy 2 iPhones for my sister. And he's like, where will I meet you? And he's like, what, where are you coming from? Like Uddingston. He's like, well, you come on the M8 or the M74. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't...
That's so dodgy, mate.
I was like, the M8, and he's like, so it's round about here somewhere. I'm not going to say where, but it's like, see, when I walk up here, I get PTSD because it's down, like, you know how, like, maybe 2 streets back and down that way, and like, not saying where it is. And go and meet him, right? Dad drives us in the van. I can see the cycle.
His new van.
The new one, the Mercedes. And he's like, I can see the cyclist. I'd seen him like 4 or 5 times just go fucking nuts. And I'm like, I see it going in his like eyes twitching. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's going to go absolutely nuts here. And he's like, we drive up, we park in a church. I've agreed to meet this guy across the street in front of like a wine cellar. My dad's like, we're standing behind the van. My dad's like, here's the plan. You go up to this guy, you ask him to see the iPhone and then check that it works. Then you get the other one off him. And then you click your fingers.
Right. Me, your mum and your sister in the room.
He also decides to get his high-vis jacket out the back of the van, and he hides behind a bin in a high-visibility jacket. The fucking tit. At the full time, I'm just terrified, so it's only after that I processed the full thing that happened. So I'm talking to the guy, literally like shivering. He gives me one of the phones. I meant to get the other one. I don't even click. The big man's just fucking stormed across the road.
Your dad?
Yeah, just absolutely fucking caning across the street. Cars are like in between the cars and everything. He just grabs him straight away, and I'm not going to repeat any of the stuff he said to him, but it was not pretty. He never hit him once, by the way. We'll say that. He never hit him.
Idiot.
He's like, he grabs the other phone off him. So I've got 2 dodgy iPhones in my hand. He's just like, right, son, let's boost. This wee cunt's fucked. And then we just left. I've got 2 iPhones in my hand, just driving away in the van, going back to the house, and my dad's just like playing the music after it.
As if it's just
playing the radio. I'm like,
just another day.
It's like, what the fuck was that?
Your dad's pretty nuts, eh?
Right. Well, he's only ever done stuff like that, like maybe like 5 or 6 times that I'm aware of.
I was going to say in front of you.
And after as well, the wee guy obviously had my number, so he was telling me he was going to kill me for the next like 2 months.
Good guy. Lift the aubergine up. I'm going to kill you.
He had to go back to the keyboard. Stole all his phones.
Is that not your physio?
But it just traumatised me. Walking down any of this side of town, because all the streets kind of look the same.
Racist. Honestly.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe he done that, though. I still talk to him about it this day, and he just goes, don't talk about it.
Still got the same high vis jacket there.
He's like, I was actually talking to him about it the other day, that's why I remember. And he was like, but you got a good deal, didn't you? Because he found somebody.
You got 2 iPhones, mate.
He found somebody on eBay that could, like, once they took away the signal, that they could get it back.
Aye.
So he basically got like 3 phones.
That is amazing.
Unbelievable.
So he basically did get a bargain then?
He did, huh? No, he did.
He
well and truly.
For a bargain.
He got...
Including rob somebody.
To be fair, he fucking deserved it.
Aye, what a dick, man.
At the end as well, he gave me that look that he could batter me, and because my dad was there, I was like, oh, fuck.
Aye, my dad
the 2 phones.
Must be nice having a dad being able to batter people.
Fuck off.
I just throw like dust in somebody's face. I mean, mate.
Have you not seen Ricky Gervais do that?
What?
In Afterlife. I was thinking about you when I was watching it.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Because everyone I've ever loved is dead. Great.
Oh, fuck off.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to start saying again.
I watched it, man, but like, semi-watched it like I was doing something else while it was in the background.
How can you do that? It's like the best thing I've ever watched.
Gangster, mate, do what I want.
What?
I'm a gangster, do what I want.
My dad's a gangster.
How brilliant is he, but like, he's a fantastic writer.
Ricky Gervais.
Aye.
Yeah,
One of the greatest ever.
Everything he's ever produced has been unreal. Derek wasn't as good as Afterlife.
Aye, because the guy was...
I know.
I
know. See, how can he do that though? And like...
I know.
That wasn't that long ago.
Aye.
How long ago was that?
Comedy moves with time, doesn't it? And the time now is basically just don't be funny, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make fun.
Do you have
of
anything funny? We don't want it.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to stop?
It has to, mate. There has to be a time where Ricky Gervais does this really great thing where he goes, being non-PC in a PC time is great.
Yeah.
How can it not be? I can't agree anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to stand out more by literally doing that type of stuff.
Because everyone's
I
scared.
don't mean going up and being fucking racist. That's crazy. Or like blatantly homophobic.
Well, that's what American comedians do anyway.
I mean, like, have some form of actually genius about your material.
Yeah.
I wrote some jokes, man, and I've went, that's just fucking racist, mate. Like, there's no joke there whatsoever.
Yeah, you've just said.
Aye. No, I've not said anything like that. It's just like, I do want to say it, but some jokes and you go, aye, mate, like, come on to fuck. Like, you're better than that. Why would you just say that?
You're just trying to get a reaction out of the...
Aye, but it's about getting the correct reaction into it. You don't want a reaction where somebody goes, actually, that could get you arrested.
Yeah.
You want to get the reaction like, anytime somebody laughs during my set, I know I've got the correct reaction when they go, and then look at somebody and go, oh, they're laughing? Right, I can laugh as well then. That's acceptable to laugh. Whereas like other comedians, like they will just get natural laughs. I'm kind of more into, you want to get the shock factor, but somebody to also realise at the same time, that is fucking hilarious.
I never find the PC stuff that funny anyway. It's like Michael McIntyre I found funny when I still think he's actually really good.
I was, but now he's down this this is what pisses me off with a lot of comedians. What makes them, they end up changing completely because the BBC come in and hand them a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like BBC signed you because of what you were.
Yeah.
So why would you change?
And then they go into presenting. It's like, you were a comedian, they made fun of stuff.
And then they just stay, but they don't. You notice that a lot of Americans like who used to do stand-up and they get like the big night TV shit and they just leave stand-up.
Yeah.
And they just do the night TV stuff.
Loads of money into it.
Aye, and plus when you're thinking about it, man, if you get paid like say $2,000 to go do 15 minutes of stand-up, or do you get paid $100,000 to do a fucking full
to do an
night
advert
show or an advert?
Yeah.
You've got to fucking do it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I would do both, but I'm mental.
It's like, yeah, but I suppose if you keep doing the stand-up and keep doing the material, it's only a matter of time before they say that's too far what you've said.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
see if they do, I go, result then, we'll keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye.
But I just like the I think it's going to go so far, and then it'll have to come back.
Aye, well, you have to look at all the films like Will Ferrell did, like the peak fucking like semi-pro Step Brothers. Like, who's the guy that directed it for them? I can't mind, but they fell out or something. And like he came out with that one there, the fucking.
I've not seen it.
Can't remember what it's called. It's about global warming or some shit, and you look at the fucking style that's wrote compared to all the other stuff, and you go, "Come on, mate, like, you're better than that. You know that." And then he's only going to eventually go back to that because everyone's going to go, everything else you're doing now is fucking shit.
Unless it touches some sort of feeling, it's not going to be funny.
No.
It's not going to be funny at all. It's like In-Betweeners. If you watch that back now, that wouldn't get anywhere.
Aye, that can come back, but like that's like how we would speak in a group chat and it got made into a TV series. Like when you were younger, when you were 16 and you spoke in the fucking Xbox.
But even
chat,
your group chat now would be awful.
I'm getting arrested instantly.
Exactly. So it's like, you have to have a line of like what, like it's the context you take it in as well.
Yeah.
It's the person
context matters and everything, because like, I could come out and say like a quote and then Paul could edit it and it just blatantly looks as though I've said something.
You could take like 5 things out of what we've just said and make each other look horrendous.
Aye.
100%. You get me just laughing at you saying your dad's dead.
I've got how insensitive.
I've got no other, I don't know what to do.
Aye, mate.
So you can do that in every podcast. I think that's why I hate the Molly May shit and all that, because it's going to put so many people off just speaking.
Steve Bartlett's a helmet. Like, he has a fucking helmet.
Do you think I like him?
Aye, mate, he's just a weapon. We get it, mate. You are rich. Did you see the thing he put up the other day? He goes, I was happier when I found £13 and bought a McDonald's compared to when I won when I got my company hit 300 million. I went, no, you fucking weren't. And if you weren't, mate, give me all your money. I'll be really happy. Like, financial stability is, you can be so fucking happy on that. Like, I hate that thing when you go, the rich aren't happy. Aye, they are, mate. Like, they're maybe not happy, like, in the particular way of...
But they're not stressed out their box about paying
I mean, like, the traditional sense of happiness, they maybe not be happy in that way, But in other ways, like they have financial freedom. They don't
don't
really
have
have to
stress.
worry.
They don't
Aye.
have silly amounts of stress.
Whereas, like, you try to tell me, like, that Stephen's mum at the time, like, when she was out working and she could only, like, afford to pay stuff at £1 a day and all that, she wasn't happy, mate. Like,
Just constantly stressed.
aye, constantly, mate. And then
Don't know
obviously,
about your parents, but
aye. Oh, here we go. They're dead, mate. Get over it. Fucking hell, Stephen? I was going to call you Stephen, mate. I think CD's happening.
but growing up, I don't remember there ever not any time you asked for anything or anything to happen, not going, can't afford it. Like
Ever?
everything.
Aye.
Every dinner we had, everyone was just like,
Mate, see when it was Halloween,
yeah,
like, and I went trick-or-treating, that would feed us for, like, weeks. That was mental.
just say, because my mum was on benefits the full time, so everyone was
same,
just
mate.
literally scraping whatever money we could have, and then that was it.
Aye.
So
It's the same with people argue me all the time and they go about the politics thing and they go, aye, the poor should care more about politics. And I goes, no, mate, they're just trying to get dinner. Like,
yeah,
and obviously, but that kind of trickles on effect where you need like the rich to kind of help the poor because the poor can't afford to put more time into trying to learn that stuff because they're too busy trying to put food on the table for their family.
yeah.
So it's all this mad complication into it.
It's people try make it sound really simple, as if you can just make this one rule and that'll change everything. Because
Yeah.
when you make one change, that has a knock-on effect on everything else. So and we're too stupid to understand that. We can't even get people to have a COVID passport. Do you know what I mean? So that's not. You can't just make one small change.
No.
And any politician, you have to be a cunt to become a politician because anything you do
We need to have
is going to
some
make
form of sociopathic tendencies.
yeah, because you're going to have, no matter what you do, thousands upon thousands of people are going to hate
affect
you.
somebody.
They're going to absolutely hate you. So you have to be a psychopath to want to put up with that. Like Nicola Sturgeon is a psychopath.
Some ride, but
Fit when she fingers herself.
apparently. No, but see with like politics and that, man, like a lot of people ask, why didn't you write any political jokes or anything trying to? And I'm like, mate, I don't care enough. Like
I'm the same.
when I want people to come do shows or that, I want there to be some form of escapism.
Yeah. I don't like. I can't deal with any political conversations at all.
No.
Like not even slightly. I can't even entertain it. Anyone that talks about like are genuinely trying to get into a proper conversation about vaccines and COVID, unless they want to just listen to my trauma from what I've went through with the vaccine, I don't want to hear about it.
Because then you can make it into some form of laugh and all about
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
'cause-
Rather than I hate getting too serious. That's why I hated telling you all that shit there. Fucking
I
hell.
loved it.
No, it was good, mate. It shows a different side, doesn't it? But that's what I'm saying. I'm too busy trying to just laugh
Yeah.
than make things too fucking serious, mate.
Just try enjoy yourself whilst you're on the
I
planet.
showed a slight different side to myself today. I'm quite proud. You know what I mean? Missus will watch this and go, are you alright?
Think you'll watch it?
Aye, mate. She watches everything, man. Just to see if I fucking say it too mental.
But you did a few times. Does she know all the stories about your ex?
Aye, mate. I told her
Oh.
everything before. Like, we went out. I told her, like, I can't have that again.
You can't. So just watch what you're doing. You're nice.
Aye, I says, so please stay away from the cutlery drawer. Thanks.
Right. I think we'll wrap it up here because I think Matt Jacobs only got till 4 o'clock. You were half an hour late. You fucking prick.
It was actually half an hour early, mate. You just want to hear.
Prick. And if you want, do you want to plug yourself?
Aye, mate.
I think.
What, like the ex-missus did, eh? Fuck's sake. No, just make sure to check out the Farless podcast on YouTube, man. Just get a wee sub in it.
Mhm.
And
Do you want to tell them
If
what
I-
it stands for, just in case anyone doesn't
aye, in
understand?
case you don't know, it's called the
Easy.
Farless podcast because my dad's very dead. And I do sometimes put up comedy videos about my dead dad. So I feel like that, follow my Instagram, that's well.
So thank you guys. I don't know when the next episode will be, but I'm gonna actually make this one a successful one. So thank
Quality,
you.
mate. Look forward to it.
Catches.